Electrosport Industries, do you have the power? Kyle from Cruiser Customizing here with Trent from Electrosport. Thank you for joining us, Trent.
Thank you for having us.
Tell me a little bit about Electrosport. Tell me a little about yourself. How did you guys get into the business? What is Electrosport? What do you guys do?
Electrosport's been around for 10 years, going on 11 years.
Now, I know you didn't have all of these parts to start with. What were the main things you started? What brought Electrosport to life?
The main things that we started with were GS stators, KZ stators, and a lot of stators and rotors for CBs. And virtually started with 3 products. 10 years time came to this line right here. Yeah, we have stators and regulator rectifiers that fit virtually every motorcycle out
On
there.
the table in front of us, Trent, we've got stators, we've got regulator rectifiers, we've got an HID unit, and we have AceWell speedometers / tachometers. You could run us through a quick breakdown of what each of these units are going to do for me on my motorcycle. That would be great. This is a fairly typical example of a stator. What does a stator do?
A stator is generating AC current. The way that it does that is from the flywheel on the motorcycle, which is magnetized. That stator actually sits in the flywheel, and the flywheel is spinning around the stator, creating an electrical energy.
Wow. So the electricity is created here, flows through these wires, and then what happens?
It runs into a rectifier regulator. It's basically converting AC current to DC current through this unit on the circuit board. And then the regulator side is what's keeping a steady DC voltage at your battery. The stator itself produces alternating current, so it's going to fluctuate depending on what RPM you are at. And then the regulator side is what's keeping a steady voltage at your battery.
Now in the past I've replaced these only because they failed on my motorcycles. I've never replaced these to do an upgrade. I know the OEM produces a stator and a rectifier that works on their vehicles to produce enough power to supply all of the stock electronics. But today we're adding light bars, we're adding heated gear, we're adding HID headlights, we're adding all kinds of things, stereo systems, GPS. We're adding all kinds of things to our motorcycles. So how much of a current or how much draw can the stock stator / regulator take versus what you're running here?
It really does vary on what motorcycle you're putting it on. Some of our stators produce 10% more output, some of them produce 50% more.
Most motorcycles have both a stator and a regulator rectifier, correct?
That's correct.
So could I just replace my stator to produce more power and allow my current regulator rectifier to give my battery the correct amount of juice?
On some motorcycles you can do that. It's not really recommended on doing so. You put a new stator in it that's producing more output, it'll typically take your stock regulator rectifier out within probably a couple months, if not immediately, which is why we recommend upgrading to our regulator rectifier as well.
We talked about the stator, we talked about the regulator rectifier. About the only thing that I'm not seeing here on the table are coils that are associated with electrical. Do you guys do coils as well?
We don't right now. That's something that we're definitely going to look at doing in the future.
So also here on the table in front of us is an HID unit. And I see HID as well as a couple aftermarket turn signals. What is the HID unit going to do for the average motorcyclist?
The biggest benefit to a HID kit over the stock halogen bulbs is the brightness that you're going to be receiving out of it, and you're going to be using 1/4 of the power.
Now I do notice that this is the bulb itself. Does this bulb burn out? And if it does, how often?
HID bulbs do burn out, but they last about 3 times as long as a halogen bulb, and they're actually cheaper than buying a 150 watt halogen bulb as well. You can get replacement bulbs for $25 to $30, and they'll last about 3,000 to 5,000 hours.
So here on the table as well are AceWell speedometers that you guys are also the US distributor. What makes AceWell speedometers your preferred brand of speedometer tachometer?
The biggest thing that we like about the AceWell speedometers, they're 100% waterproof. Price is amazing.
So 100% waterproof. What's the warranty if water did happen to seep in?
If water seeps in, we'll replace it for you, no questions asked. All of our speedometers are more of a universal fitment. Like this unit in front of me right now has left, right turn signal, neutral, oil, and high beam. It also has fuel, and it's got water temperature, tachometer, speed, trip, hour meter. I mean, everything you could possibly want on a bike.
You have a great product offering here between the stators, regulator rectifiers, HID units, and speedometer, tachometer, anything you want. Any information you want up on the bars, you can put it up there. Well, let's take a little bit of deeper look at the stators and regulator rectifiers, because those are the things that people most often have questions about, and then we'll dig in and do some installs.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching this week's Electrosport Introduction Tip of the Week from Cruiser Customizing. Stay tuned for detailed explanations and install videos of these parts. Until next week, take care and ride safe.